All right, guys. Hello. How you doing? So today we have a project that you're going to be working on. You're going to have 3 days to do it. Today's Monday. You'll have Tuesday, and then you'll turn it in on Wednesday. And what this is, it's a it's an album cover art. Now I know we don't do album covers anymore, but in Spotify we do have the little square album cover still, and I'm going to bring it in Spotify real quick so you can actually see. This is a Depeche Mode. It's an old 80s band, but we always have this little window with the album art. That's what this little square is, right? And so when we used to use physical media, and they still sell vinyl albums. Okay, they were always square, or even CDs. They were square. Cassettes were different, but we won't talk about that in this during this tutorial. So basically, this is an example of an album art, right? This is an example of an album art for Blink 182. And it's, again, this is the dimensions, and I'll give you the dimensions in a second. So you're going to use your tools in Animate to create some of these pictures. And of course, some of them are not completely in the right format. But as you can see, you could definitely do this with a brush and your swatches and the text tool. So you're going to be using them. And again, I'll go over the rubric in a second. And here's another album art. And again, this is obviously for those of you who are really advanced, but you can also see how they used gradients in this particular album art. Now, this was done with obviously brushes, but we can actually do the same thing in Animate. All right, here's another one. Of course, this is more flattened with shapes, so it didn't use really gradients in there, but again, gradients are how you would get the depth, right? And of course, here's one that has some shadows in it with perspective. And again, if you are really well versed in art, I'm going to want you to kind of really take this to the next level. If I feel that you finished too early, I may ask you to go back and add things to it, okay? Just so that you can get the full credit. I don't want you people just turning things in. I want it thought out. Obviously, all that to say is that if you do finish, within a certain amount of time, I'm not going to add any work, but it needs to have some thought and creativity. Here's another one with some, obviously this is a signed one, but I had a lot of shapes. You could do this with the polygon tool, right? And you can do some shadows here with some colors, and this is monochromatic, right? And of course, this is an Incubus CD cover, right? And so here's Incubus. Again, flattened, but still with a lot of color. Here's another one with a lot of detail within In Flames. Here's another one, again, art. And here's kind of like a brush painting type of cover. So I just give you an example. So all these examples are in Canvas, so you can actually check it out if you want. I'm going to go ahead and move this to the side. So again, that is your task. That is your assignment for these next 3 days. It's a project. So you're going to open up new, and I'm going to get you started. So you're going to open up and you're going to create new. Now, the next couple of projects, I'm not going to probably walk you through just this beginning part. So please pay attention and get used to this. We always hit create new, right? And then here, when we create new, we're actually going to be here. We're going to click the canvas, and then instead of the width and height, we're going to actually change these to 500 by 500 because we really want a square. If you notice, we were using kind of like a rectangle before for the cup. Actually, it was a long rectangle, but now we want the dimensions to be a square just like that. Okay, so 500 by 500, and then hit create, right? And there it is. That's your beginning stage, right? It's a square, just like the other artwork. And so you're going to be creating some album art, right? For those of you who are, social media savvy, this is also good dimensions for Instagram, right? The Instagram square. So you can actually create some cool things with that as well. So you can think of it both as album art, but you can also think of it as Instagram art if you want, right? Because it's the right dimensions. That's it. And then, of course, let me see if I can pull up your assignment right quick, right? And here is the rubric in Canvas itself. You have to have 3 layers, which is 20 points. The correct size, which I just showed you, 500 by 500 is 20 points. Use a brush tool is 20 points. Use a text tool, 20 points. And use object filters, blur, shadow, etc. Okay, so you should be able to use those. Obviously, the object shape tools, all these other tools that you've learned, you should be able to use. Turn it in as a JPEG only. So when you go in File, Save, and I'm just going to go through this real quick, right? Because I want to make sure that everybody gets it correctly. Export legacy. Down here at the bottom, I want you to change that to JPEG. Okay, and then of course name it with your first and last name and art, right? Or album art or Instagram, however you want to save it. Or I'm going to cancel. But again, that's how you did it. File, export, export legacy. Down here, make sure you set that to JPEG. Fill in your name with, and then of course your art. That's it, guys. That's it for me. You have 3 days to do this. Have some fun. All right, Mr. Juarez, over and out. Bye.